Cars, with no understatement, they literally changed the world. In this video, we will explore how the invention of the car affected society, politics, economics, and culture in the 1920s and 30s.
Although the car was originally invented in 1879 by Carl Benz, it wasn't until 1913 when Henry Ford perfected the assembly line production of his famous Model T, making cars affordable for the average American, was when cars began to gain mass popularity.
The rise of mass-produced cars also came with the Roaring Twenties. Social, political, economic, and cultural changes from the war led to people seeing the necessity for cars.
As the car became popular at a very quick rate, the way cities and towns were laid out and managed needed to change.
As well, all the cars looked the same and used the same key. And as you can see, finding the car that was originally yours wasn't really worth it. So people just drove off in a car that may or may not have been theirs.
Now, we will look at the effect the car had on society. People could now travel great distances quicker and did not have to stick with the limited destinations of a train or slow horses that could not travel nearly as far.
Think of the way your house is laid out now. Your home would not look the same if it wasn't for cars. You may have a driveway, garage, and side doors that would not be needed if it wasn't for cars. Neighborhoods in cities are also laid out in a way that allows anyone to go anywhere with their car.
It was also a lot easier to purchase a car because of a new invention called credit. But that's for another video. Cars also affected how people socialized. As an example, we will use this couple. Henry would have to go to Diane's parents' house and have a polite conversation and then leave. Now, with cars, Henry can take Diane on a date wherever they like. Because of this, the entertainment industry expands, and things like theaters and diners become more popular. And now that both Diane and Henry aren't alone in the same room as Diane's parents, they can get a bit more intimate.
Now we will look at how the car affected politics. Governments had to use money to pay for the construction of more expansive roadways and other infrastructure. Now that it is faster and easier to reach remote areas, the government will have to develop formerly rural areas. New laws revolving around cars will also be needed to put into place, such as speed limits. Governments will now also trade more extensively for fuels, as well as develop new motorized infantry and armored vehicles for modern militaries.
We will now look at the economic impact of cars. With the invention of cars came jobs making them. As mentioned before, new businesses such as theaters, diners, and gas stations were also hiring. This means there was a lot of money flowing around than there was prior. Cars are now also being imported and exported from Canada. These larger objects need bigger ships to transport them overseas.
Finally, we will look at the effects cars had on culture. An aspect of life that became popular with the creation of cars was vacationing, which also created a whole new vacation industry. People could also go see their family who lived far away more often because of cars.
Also, people who formerly lived in rural areas could easily move to urban areas with the help of cars.
Another recreation aspect that came with cars was watching car races.
Lastly, people needed to learn how to drive and had to be concerned with getting hit or killed in car accidents.
That's all for this video. If you liked, make sure to subscribe and check us out on these social media platforms.
If you would like to see more things like this, leave a comment and tell us what we should do next.